So, can you play one more song and tell us the story behind it?
Okay. So, not that long ago when I was home, I was sitting in the kitchen with my dad, and he was telling me the story of the old place. And when I was young, there was a field on the farm where the young cattle were kept. And that field was called the old place. I didn't realize until not that long ago that the old place is called the old place because it was the old place where my uncle and father grew up with their grandfather before they moved the farm to where it is today. So my dad was telling me that the whole story of the old place, right from when Hector McNeil sailed from the Isle of Barra and married a lady named Kitty Campbell, and they made their home there, built the house. And Hector and Kitty had a daughter named Marianne, and Marianne married a man named Dan Summers, who would be my great-grandfather. And Dan and Marianne had 6 kids, I believe. So, and one of those kids was my grandfather, Jack. It's just an incredible story of all those descendants and where they all ended up and all the things that happened to them. Like a man was shot. One of the brothers was shot and killed at the old place. One of the brothers became a famous actor and singer in Chicago in the vaudeville era. Another interesting part about the song is when Dan and Marianne decided to get married, they had already been living together, which was a big no-no back in those days. So when they walked up the aisle at the church, their penance for living together before their marriage was they had to crawl on their hands and knees up to the altar on their wedding day, which is pretty interesting. So anyway, my dad gave me all this information, and it was very, very hard to get it into one song because there's so many cool things I wanted to get. So this is a really long song with a lot of words, but I did my best. This is how it goes. This is a really new song too, so I might mess it up. That old field where the cattle graze stood at home in bygone days. Just a shack, had no frills. Halfway from here to Woodville Mills. Hector came from the Hebrides. He met Barra and sailed the seas. He met Kitty and settled down, and they built the house on the Sparrow's ground. In the old place where the cattle graze stood at home in bygone days. Now it's just a field, not much to see, but it holds the roots of the family tree. It holds the roots of the family tree. Hector and Kitty and Marianne. She grew up, along came Dan. She let Dan move on in. For a few years lived in sin. Their first boy, they were blessed. Went to church and they confessed. For their penance they did pay. On hands and knees on their wedding day. In the old place where the cattle graze stood at home in bygone days. Now it's just a field, not much to see, but it holds the roots of the family tree. It holds the roots of the family tree. Dad had daddy's blacksmith trade. He was known for the songs he made. He He wrote the crooked ribbon jail when Mary Ann wouldn't pay his bail. He could sing, that's for sure. He was good for songs and nothing more. He lived hard and then died young. No thanks to the booze and the blacksmith's loan. In the old place where the cattle graze, stood a home in bygone days. Now it's just a field, not much to see, but it holds the roots of the family tree. It holds the roots of the family tree. 6 kids left to tend the farm. 1 got shot behind the barn. Some stayed near and some went far. 1 was a vaudeville acting star. Some went away, never came back. 1 stayed here, and that was Jack. Jack had Dad, Dad had me. I'm another branch of that family tree. In the old place where the cattle graze, stood a home in bygone days. Now it's just a field, not much to see, but it holds the roots of the family tree. It holds the roots of the family tree. Holds the roots of the family tree. It holds the roots of the family tree. Thank you so much.
So, is the old place still standing?
It is. It's still the old place. There's an old pole barn there. There's a new pole barn there where the old shack used to be, and they still keep the young cattle there. They still feed them every day. It's still very much a part of the family farm. But like I said, I didn't realize it was actually an important part of our history until very recently. But it's incredible how many things come out of that old place, which I thought was just a farmer's field for my whole life.
Do you remember when we were kids herding cattle?
I do, yeah.
Back and forth.
I
from
do,
there to
yeah.
the farm?
I do, yeah.
That's all for today. Thank you, Stephen Summers. And don't forget to check out his channel. I'm going to leave it in the description. Check it out. And don't forget to subscribe. That's all for today. Peace.